Live from the Ball State News Center, this is NewsLink Indiana in high definition.
Welcome to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Tanner Holbrook.
And I'm Jenna Liston. Thanks for joining us. Ball State University President Paul Ferguson recently returned from a trip to Atlanta to discuss Ball State's commitment to fighting climate change. However, that trip has received some recent criticism. NewsLink Indiana's Tony Sandlaben has more.
Old mills have been shut down. New geothermal plants have been created, all to help strengthen Ball State's effort to increase clean energy. Yet President Paul Ferguson has come under fire for a recent trip to Atlanta. Ferguson took the trip to sign a new effort to fight climate change. A report surfaced from the Daily Caller saying Ferguson and his colleagues traveled over 8,000 miles for a meeting that lasted just over an hour. Ball State reported the conference was a two-day event and that President Ferguson's flight would have gone to Atlanta with or without him. When asked for details on the event in question, Joan Todd, the president's chief communications officer, said President Ferguson took a commercial flight. His presence on the plane would not have significantly affected the carbon footprint on these regularly scheduled flights that were, incidentally, full both ways. When asked if we could interview either the president or Todd herself, Todd simply responded by saying, "I'm sorry, the president is not available for interviews. I provided everything I can." Dr. James Eflin, a professor from the Department of Natural Resources and Environmental Management, felt the details of the carbon emission were taken out of context and that trips like Ferguson's happen all the time.
And we may only be involved in a session where we are actively presenting for 15 or 20 minutes. Now, one could construe that as saying, well, you travel all this distance just for 20 minutes of active participation, which is not the case. We could have him walk or ride a bicycle. I don't think that would be very effective.
And Ball State's commitment to going green started a number of years ago under former President Joe Angora with the establishment of geothermal energy plants like this one behind me. Joan Todd also said that President Ferguson took this trip to not only sign the agreement, but to also compare notes and strategies on how to continue to combat climate change. In Muncie, Tony Sandlaben, NewsLink Indiana.
Ball State could make $277 million from the sale of WIPB, the university's PBS member station. The Board of Trustees voted September 23rd to allow Ball State to look into participating in the Federal Communications Commission's auction to sell the waves from the TV channels. The waves are in high demand, and this could mean WIPB would be taken off the air. Even just moving to a very high frequency channel could give Ball State $110 million, 80% of its total budget. Over 2,000 stations are eligible to participate in the auction. Ball State is still deciding whether or not they will participate.
Own a drone? Well, you may have to let the federal government know about it. Today, the U.S. Department of Transportation is expected to announce the formation of a task force on drones. Their duties reportedly included the creation of a policy that requires anyone who buys a drone to register with the department. This follows a number of high-profile security incidences involving drones. Currently, only commercial drone users are required to register their drone aircraft with the Federal Aviation Administration.
Are Democrats growing impatient that Joe Biden is taking longer than expected to make his decision on running for president? As Jim Acosta reports that Vice President's political team has sent out a smoke signal that a final answer is coming soon.
It's the big question all over Washington. Will he or won't he? When Joe Biden's political future came up in the Oval Office, the vice president was just a few feet away, listening with his lips sealed. President Obama later brushed off the question.
I'm not going to comment on what Joe's doing or not doing. I think you can direct those questions to my very able vice president.
But a decision appears to be coming soon, so says Biden's former Senate Chief of Staff Ted Kaufman in a message to the vice president's political network. I am confident that the vice president is aware of the practical demands of making a final decision soon. Kaufman also described what a Biden campaign would be like. In other words,
they're going to put you all back in chains.
Lots of Biden being Biden. I think it's fair to say, knowing him as we all do, that it won't be a scripted affair. After all, it's Joe. But Democrats are all but begging Biden to hurry. As one senior party official put it, if the silence goes into next week, friends think the decision is made for him. Hillary Clinton is practically pushing herself in this interview with CNN's Jake Tapper.
A decision has to be made, but certainly I'm not in any way suggesting or recommending that the vice president accept any timetable other than the one that is clicking inside of him. He has to make this decision.
Plus, the longer Biden waits, the more it hurts. The latest poll in New Hampshire shows Clinton and Democratic rival Bernie Sanders way out in front of the vice president. When Democratic voters were asked if Biden should enter the race, half said no.
I think he knows this is D-Day, and he's got to make a decision. A lot of people are waiting, and people who really care about him and want to help him are waiting too, and so he needs to move on there.
Democrats are starting to compare Biden's lengthy deliberations to those of the late New York Governor Mario Cuomo, who actually had a plane on a tarmac waiting to take him to New Hampshire in 1992. But Cuomo pulled back at the last minute. And Clinton went on to become president.
A top Democratic source said Biden's inner circle has indicated a decision could come in the next few days, but some Democrats aren't buying it. As one party strategist said, this latest message from Biden's world just might be buying time.
An investigation has been opened into whether the personal email accounts of the former CIA director and Homeland Security Secretary were hacked. The alleged hacker, who says he is a high school student, recently spoke to the New York Post. He claims CIA Director John Brennan's private account had sensitive files, including a secretary clearance application. He also claimed to hear Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson's voicemails in another hack. A law enforcement official says it does not appear any classified information was breached. The FBI and Secret Service are investigating the allegations.
Central Indiana was under a red flag warning until 8 p.m. this evening. The National Weather Service issued the warning because of strong winds, low relative humidity, and dry fuel moisture. A red flag warning means conditions are ideal for a new fire to start and existing fires to spread. Due to the warnings, outdoor burning is not recommended. Tips for handling future situations can be found at www.red.gov. And Jenna, it was a little cold this weekend, don't you think?
Yeah, coming back, we haven't been back since fall break. So coming back from fall break, I brought all my scarves, all my gloves, but I didn't go out much this weekend because it was so cold. Nathan, can you give us a little good news for this upcoming week?
I think we can have a degree of optimism coming up for our weather forecast. Now, looking outside currently, today, beautiful day overall. It was just so wonderful. Temperatures were able to warm up. We broke that pattern of having those cold temperatures that we had this past weekend. Currently outside, 56 degrees with those winds out of the south-southwest at 13 miles per hour. Beautiful weather overall this evening. Highs across the state of Indiana today were quite wonderful. 64 degrees was our daytime high today here in Muncie. But how warm is that? The 24-hour temperature change map shows that places like Terre Haute, 20 degrees warmer than what it was, 17 degrees warmer here in Muncie. Your bus stop forecast for tomorrow morning, if you're heading the kiddos out to the bus stop, 47 degrees and sunny, and then 70 degrees as your afternoon high. Now, coming up in the forecast, we're going to talk about how long those cool and breezy starts are going to stick around. We're talking about a work week warm up, and then when are the rain chances returning?
Thank you, Nathan. Well, Apple removes hundreds of apps from the iTunes App Store that secretly collected personal information from anyone who downloaded them. This is the third lapse in Apple's App Store secretary in the past month. According to app analytics service Source DNA, who discovered the problem, most of the 256 apps were made in China. They were also downloaded 1 million times. The app's developers used a software from a Chinese advertising company called Yumi, which was allowed to developers to put ads in their apps. The Yumi's software gathered information about the people who downloaded the apps, including their email addresses, iPhone serial numbers, and sending all that data to Yumi's servers, which Apple says is a violation of our security and privacy guidelines. Source DNA told Apple about the privacy intrusion on Sunday, and the apps were removed today. Apple said the apps are banned until they are fixed. When NewsLink Indiana returns, we'll have the latest on a crime-filled weekend around the city and state.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Welcome back. Over the weekend, a train struck two people who were walking along the tracks. The man and woman were hit from behind. It happened southeast of the Jackson Street Bridge and west of the White River. Muncie Fire Department Captain Brian Manship said the pair were sitting on the gravel when emergency personnel arrived. The woman complained about severe back and neck pain. The man was conscious at the scene but was saying very little. Authorities at the location don't believe the victims have life-threatening injuries. The two were taken to IU Health Ball Memorial Hospital for treatment.
A Muncie woman has been placed on probation after being found passed out in her car with her infant inside. Darlena Evans pled guilty to neglect of the dependent and while driving intoxicated. City police found Evans and her baby parked outside Sunshine Cafe. After being awakened, Evans said she had taken Xanax, smoked marijuana, and drank the night before. She also said she did all of this while her infant was with her. Her probation will last for a year.
Michael Williamson is held in the Delaware County Jail without bond for a murder charge. The 37-year-old stabbed his longtime acquaintance, Bilal Lipscomb. The stabbing happened in Williamson's apartment, where Lipscomb was staying in the 600 block of West Jackson Street. Williamson said he was threatening him with a gun on the recorded phone call to 911. He made around 8 a.m. October 6th. During the call, Williamson told police almost 20 times that he stabbed Lipscomb. He also told police he beat him to the punch by stabbing Lipscomb with a butter knife. Michael Williamson's jury trial date is set for February 29th.
An Indiana University student was arrested after allegedly attacking a Muslim woman. According to the Bloomington police, a Muslim woman was sitting at a cafe with her daughter at the Sofro Cafe. 19-year-old Tristan Bickford saw her and started yelling derogatory phrases. After that, he allegedly yelled, "White power," and "kill them all." Bickford grabbed the woman's neck and slammed her head into the table. He then tried to remove her headscarf. The woman's husband saw what was happening and immediately rushed to his wife's aid. Another man also helped the husband. While Bickford was pinned, he spit in the man's faces and yelled other threats. Inside the police car, Bickford kicked at the windows and later bit an officer in the leg at the Monroe County Jail. His blood alcohol test was almost 2.5 times over the legal limit. Bickford faces many charges, some of which are intimidation, public intoxication, strangulation, and felony-level battery.
An Indianapolis teen has been pronounced dead from a shooting at an after-party and celebrating homecoming weekend at Indiana State University. 18-year-old Donovan Clinkscales was shot to death outside a house on the north side of Terre Haute. Police say evidence at the scene indicated multiple firearms were involved in the shooting, and several guns have been recovered. 2 other young men were also injured, while Terre Haute police arrested 19-year-old Khalil Davis and 18-year-old Leon Johnson Jr.
Coming up next, will the sunny skies stick around? Well, when NewsLink Indiana returns, we'll have a look at your full weather forecast.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. So Tanner, Nathan's told us a little bit about this upcoming weather. How do you feel about it? The warm weather, stepping away from that cool weekend weather.
Well, it was cold this weekend, so I'm kind of hoping the warmer weather comes back and sticks around for a while.
Yeah.
Nathan, what can you tell us?
So the great news that I have for you guys tonight is that we are going to see a warm up in the forecast for this week. Temperatures will get up to the 70s. We're going to cover that here in just a few moments. Let's first start with the Indiana wind speeds. Currently all across the state of Indiana here in Muncie, south-southwest at 13 miles per hour. These winds, in combination with the temperature and relative humidity, allowed us the opportunity to have a red flag warning issued earlier today that expired at 8 o'clock this evening. Looking across the state of Indiana, morning lows this morning, quite chilly start, 37 degrees here in Muncie this morning, so you had to bring out that jacket. Highs across the state of Indiana, however, promise better. Look at these temperatures all across the state of Indiana. 68 degrees in Indianapolis today, 64 degrees here in Muncie as your daytime high. Currently outside, 56 degrees with those winds out of the south-southwest at 13 miles per hour. And the feel like temperature is 56 because there is definitely no dew point even out there. Tonight, we will see the temperatures drop down to 46 degrees with those breezy conditions sticking with us. And looking at precision cast, you notice that looking at the next couple days here, temperatures are going to be remaining well, but along with those skies and beautiful conditions with those beautiful clear skies overall, making it for a perfect next couple days in the next part. So looking at the day planner for tomorrow noon, 61 degrees with 3 p.m. hitting our daytime high of 70 degrees. And then we're also looking at your 7-day forecast. Look at these temperatures all across the board, looking pretty decent, returning right back to normal. But we are tracking your next chance of some precipitation to return on Saturday morning into the afternoon hours with a daytime high of 66 degrees on Saturday. So we're definitely tracking some changes, but all good changes in terms of temperatures.
Okay, good. Nathan, it's just so confusing. I don't know, cold weather, warm weather, rainy weather. It's Indiana. We're in Indiana for sure.
Yeah, thank you, Nathan. Coming up here on NewsLink Indiana, find out what Muncie Central Volleyball is doing to prepare for the postseason.
And Ball State football falls yet again. Stay tuned.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know wherever you are.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Amanda Smith here with sports. Georgia State's football team came to Schumann Stadium having only won a single FBS game since they became an FBS school themselves in 2013. And on Saturday, they made that Now, Ball State is going to answer the first couple plays with a touchdown right there from Riley Neal down to Dylan Curry. They're going to go up 10-7, but Ball State isn't going to lead for the rest of the game. Now, Georgia State is going to pick up the pace. They're going to score on 3 more consecutive plays. They're up 24-10. Fourth quarter, Riley Neal finds Jordan Williams. He'll pick up 19 yards and a touchdown. Cardinals down now by 5. Final 2 minutes of the game. Georgia State scores one last time, short 1-yard touchdown, and they'll pick up their 3rd win ever as an FBS school. Final score 31-19. Now, that is Ball State's 4th straight loss. They'll play again at home Saturday against Central Michigan. The Muncie Central volleyball team is on a 20-game winning streak into postseason play. NewsLink's Ryan Flannery has more.
The Bearcats have not lost a match since September 12th, and they are ready to take that momentum with them into sectional play.
I feel really good about our 20-game winning streak. I feel like we're ready to take on sectionals, and we're competitive, and we're just ready to play.
Muncie Central has never squared off against Homestead, but senior Nikki Marshall understands the challenge of playing a bigger streak.
We're not the biggest team, so we have to be smart with our shots. We have to get to where we need to be. In practice, we're doing a lot of serving to disrupt teams, a lot of serving, a lot of passing on serve receive, so we can run our middles and be quick. We think if we're faster, teams won't be able to keep up with us.
The Bearcats are focusing on speed and individual responsibilities after losing starting outside hitter Virginia Wilhoit, who suffered a torn ACL in last Saturday's conference tournament.
I think our biggest challenge is with one of our players being hurt and just everybody stepping up and playing their role and just playing it better than they have been.
Virginia is upset she cannot contribute to the scoreboard, but knows her team needs her enthusiasm.
It's different not to cheer on the court because now it's not me that's scoring like some of the points. It's like hard to watch because I love playing volleyball and I love being involved with like everything. But I'm still gonna cheer as hard as I did and as much as I did for when I was on the court now that I'm on the bench.
The Bearcats take on Homestead Thursday evening as they begin their run for the school's 8th state championship. In Muncie, Ryan Flannery, NewsLink, Indiana.
Now, this week we're just going to continue to preview other high school teams leading up to sectionals on Thursday.
Great, thanks Amanda. A parole board in South Africa is putting South Africa's Blade Runner under house arrest Tuesday for the next 4 years. Oscar Pistorius has served 1 year of his 5-year prison sentence. The double amputee will now also be subject to gun prohibitions and must continue psychotherapy. A former Olympian was sentenced last year for the culpable homicide of his girlfriend, Reva Stenkamp.
All right, after the break, we'll have the latest in your entertainment news.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish!
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Welcome back. I'm Marquise G. Coming to an Emmons near you, an evening with Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. Last Thursday, several Ball State students camped out for tickets for the concert coming to Emmons Auditorium February 3rd. Tickets went on sale last Friday starting at 7 a.m. and several students camped out and enjoyed food, prizes, and music from WCRD. This concert is part of Macklemore and Lewis's international tour starting January 2016. $1 from each of the tickets purchased will go to organizations working for equality and justice. If you haven't purchased your tickets yet, it's not too late. Tickets are still on sale at the Emmons box office, $15 for students with an ID and $30 for guests. As this weekend approaches, we fall on some good times with family, friends, and some great Cardinal fun as we come for family weekend. If relatives are coming to spend time with you, they can stay close and book a room at the University Hotel. There will be lots of great activities to do, including a walk in Christie Woods, a golf outing, a family golf outing, tailgating, and also as we walk over to Schumann Stadium to support the Cardinals as they take on Central Michigan. For a full list of all the activities and action coming up this weekend, check out bsu.edu/family weekend. More news is being revealed in the case of Lamar Odom after a shocking hospitalization last Tuesday. He has just woken up from a 3-day coma on Friday, and with his ex-wife Khloe Kardashian by his side, he has started to make small conversation verbally and non-verbally. He is also working to be weaned off of breathing apparatus, but as he continues to make more adjustments, Khloe Kardashian and all of her family, Odom's family, and former teammates are standing by his side during his recovery. That's all for tonight. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Marquise. Now let's get a final check of the weather, Nathan.
Yeah, so conditions, we had a cold weekend. Now we warmed right back up for today, and beautiful conditions overall today. We hit 64 degrees here in Muncie today. Other places all across Indiana hit highs in the low 70s. But for tomorrow, we are going to have our shot at hitting 70 degrees, but with those sunny skies. And that same pattern is going to stick around for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, where then Saturday, the pattern is going to begin changing, and we begin to see those chances of some rain moving in with a daytime high of 66 degrees on Saturday, clearing right back out to get right back in the same pattern that we've been in the last couple weeks now, and cooling right back down into those fall-like temperatures. So overall, Ball State is in good shape for weather.
All right, thanks, Nathan. That's all for tonight on NewsLink Indiana. Be sure to watch tomorrow night at 9 p.m. right here on Cardinal Vision.
And be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Have a good night.